From the subreddit Amithia Shoal. Am I the asshole for not letting my pregnant friend eat my wife's food? I 33am have had the same friend since college. We became close our freshman year and have remained friends since then. It consists of me and my 4 buddies plus our wives. It started out as me and my buddies, but as we got older our families have expanded, and so have the friend group. Once a month we have barbecues, and each one of us take turns hosting. My wife, Jane, is autistic and has trouble eating certain foods. She has sensory issues. To be safe, I have given my friends a list of foods that are safe for her to eat and won't cause any problems. It's really easy food and none of them have a problem accommodating her. The other day we were over at one of my friend's house. His name is John, fake name. We all got our food and his wife, Caroline, went and grabbed the plate that was for my wife. My other friends, Nick, wife saw. Her name is Sarah, and she is pregnant. She said she didn't want the food that was made, and wanted my wife's food. The problem was John and Caroline only made enough for Jane, and not enough for anybody else. Sarah then demanded my wife give up her food because she has a baby to nourish, and my wife doesn't. My wife has trouble communicating what she wants to other people, so I told Sarah that my wife only eats certain foods, and this is one of them. Sarah snapped back saying that the other food is making her nauseous and she has to eat something, and my wife's food is the only thing that looks appealing to her. I told her that she or her husband can get in the kitchen and make something, but my wife will not be giving up her food. She called me rude and inconsiderate and stormed out of the backyard. Nick went to chase after her shortly after. Am I the asshole for not letting a pregnant woman eat my wife's food? Not the asshole. Being pregnant isn't free pass for anything you want. Manners and basic decency still applies. Not the asshole. Pregnancy is difficult, but that doesn't mean she can be that entitled. Your wife is autistic, and you have given a list of food to your friends, which they don't have trouble accommodating. This was an issue she and her husband needed to solve. If that means that the husband had to run to a grocery store, well, so be it. Just because she is nourishing a baby doesn't mean it's okay to make your wife starve. AITA, thank you for the award. Much appreciated, smiley face Sil. Not the asshole. She's learning firsthand how difficult it is to live with sensory issues about food, now that the smell of her usual foods makes her sick. She knows she's pregnant, and that this is a very real possibility when pregnant, but she didn't plan for it. She's not starving, and she's capable of finding something else to eat. She may be overly emotional right now, so ignore the excess drama and let the entire thing go. Not the asshole. Jane and Sarah both have special food needs. Jane due to autism and Sarah to pregnancy. Jane was prepared because you established prior to the event what her dietary requirements were. Sarah was not. If Sarah feels that she is entitled to Jane's meal for any reason, pregnancy included, she is flat out wrong. Maybe at the next event Sarah will inform the host of her food requirements or preferences. Not the asshole. Being pregnant isn't an excuse for being a royal bee. Definitely not the asshole. I'm not sure why your pregnant friend couldn't bring her own food or mention something, considering her aversion may have presented itself before the meetup. Even if it was something that happened out of the blue, I'd have thought she'd be aware of your wife's issues with food and wouldn't take what was obviously for someone else. She was being rude and using her pregnancy as excuse to be rude. She should have made her own meal, for sure. Not the asshole. As a woman who's been pregnant, I hate pregnant women using that as an excuse to be odd to everyone around them. The world doesn't owe you anything. Accommodate yourself. Not the asshole. Good for you for standing up for Jane. Why some pregnant people act like their state allows them to claim ownership of all food. They're still adults with self-control. Not the asshole. Sarah was incredibly rude. That food wasn't for her. Being pregnant doesn't give her the right to do whatever she wants. She can't take someone else's things, a food, just because she thinks the world needs to accommodate her every whim. Definitely not the asshole. I'm also autistic, very particular about food, and struggle to verbalize my needs at times, especially when I'm put on the spot. Thank you for standing up for your wife and her needs. Not the asshole you stood up for your wife and was her knight in shining armor. I don't know why pregnant women and women pushing strollers feel so entitled, but they do. Not the asshole. That woman dumb lost her mind. I'm pregnant, but I would never dream of stealing someone's specific plate of food. If all other food makes her feel nauseous, then it's up to her to provide food that she can eat, not everyone else. Ooh. I'm gonna go with not the asshole. Sarah sounds like a momzilla. Sarah was essentially saying she was okay with your wife going hungry, just because she was feeling picky. That's not okay. I've been preggers before, and the hormones can make you into a raging she-thing, but this sounds like Sarah needs to grow up before she has that baby. Pregnant lad was entitled AF. Tell my dude. Not the asshole. Say it with me, the world does not owe you because you did the dirty and squirty raw. Not the asshole, but the pregnant lady seems to be. Being pregnant isn't an excuse to eat someone else's food. Not the asshole, and definitely a keeper husband. I don't understand the entitlement. Duh. Not the asshole, just because Sarah is pregnant does not entitle her to eat people's food without them offering it to her first. It is fine to ask, but Sarah became the awe when she demanded the food and tried to guilt trip Op's wife OP with the baby to nourish comment, as if she was literally starving and there was not a kitchen full of food to eat. She did not need the food to nourish her baby, she wanted the food because it was more appetizing to her in the moment. You are not rude and inconsiderate for prioritizing your wife's dietary needs over Sarah's momentary wants. It's absolutely possible that Sarah only discovered that day that the smell of the normal barbecue food nauseates her now. Pregnancy is an ever-evolving merry-go-round of WTF. Also, some people, I was one of them, are ravenously hungry throughout pregnancy. However, the appropriate response was to ask the hosts if they had any more of what they had made, not demand Jane's food from you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The entitlement of pregnant lady is astounding. Like, as a person who's been pregnant before, I could never imagine demanding anyone's food, let alone someone who doesn't have any other food options available. Would Sarah have demanded the food if it had been made for allergy reasons? Regardless of the fact Sarah is pregnant, your other friends and her partner need to call her out on that behavior so it doesn't hopefully happen again. Not the asshole. It's not your job to sacrifice everything to a pregnant woman. Not the asshole. Just 'cause she's pregnant does not give her license to be an entitled cow. Good on you for standing up for your wife. Not the asshole. Sarah is pregnant by choice. She is the one who needs to make sure her needs are met and can't expect others to drop everything to cater to her whims. Your wife is autistic by birth. She never had a choice in the matter and is still able to make sure her needs are met in a way that doesn't inconvenience anyone. Pregnancy is not get-out-of-jail-free card to treat others like crap. Not the asshole. It astound me people like her pregnant friend exist. Not the asshole. It was made for your wife. It was her food. If the pregnant woman needed special food, she should have said so beforehand. What would she have done if your wife hadn't been there and there wasn't any special food prepared for her? She needs to prepare for these situations herself, not hope that there's someone else there with sensory issues whose stuff she can swipe. The entitled mombies are at it again. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Sarah can either plan ahead, as you do, or bring her own food. Not eating for a few hours is not harmful to the baby, so getting whatever it was she craved from the store was also an option. She could also have asked nicely if Jane was willing to share while getting more food that she and Jane enjoy. She chose to be in awe about it instead. She created the problem. I'm not referring to her pregnancy, but to the drama, not you. I've been pregnant and met lots of pregnant people and have never experienced one who behaved this way. Pregnancy isn't to be rude to whomever you like card. If she's been in the group a while, she knows about Jane's food preferences. She can't just all of a sudden decide Jane can suck it up because she is having a baby. Not the asshole.